"The city will be rich," said Mayor Jack Boferman. After routine surveying in the area because of the Pyro Waste expansion, researchers stumbled across two landmasses with traces of ore and a mysterious dark mineral resembling coal. Upon research at San Cornelia University, scientists in the Department of Geosciences and Mineralogy soon found that the substance was remarkably lightweight, emitted no detectable fumes when burned, and produced an intense, sustained energy output. They also warned Boferman against any hasty decisions, as further results was needed to understand the long-term environmental and health impacts of mining and utilizing the mineral. Boferman didn't see this as a problem though. He knew that he would begin extraction at the slightest hint of any resources, as it gave him a chance to live up to his family name. Just like his grandfather, a pioneering industrialist, Jack now had the opportunity to heighten Puerto Gato's fortune through bold decisions, a legacy he had spent his entire career trying to achieve. He contacted surrounding mining companies, offering them lucrative tax credits and land grants in exchange for their resources. However, Jack struggled with the pitch until he met with BlackRock Mining Company. The business leader saw the potential of this project and signed on almost immediately. Jack's younger brother, Charles, soon purchased the land and opened his own ore mines in the area, timed to coincide with the BlackRock proposition, and named his venture Iron Ridge Extraction. As plans for the first mining operation took shape, whispers spread amongst the townspeople. The opening of Iron Ridge and BlackRock promised new economic opportunities for many, sparking a wave of migration to the area. Miners and their families arose in droves, followed by shopkeepers and tradespeople eager to support the growing community. Farms quickly took root in the fertile land beyond the mines, supplying food to the swelling population. Boferman saw this as an opportunity to expand his family's wealth, purchasing key farmland before local rivals could stake their claims. Yet, amid the rapid expansion, some in the town wonder if their prosperity might come at a hidden cost. In today's episode, we are taking a trip out of town. We will add streams and creeks to our new area, build mines and farms, and establish a small town. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome back, everybody. We are starting east of the city here today, and we are going to be planning a small mining and farming town, which I think is going to be a key part of our city's growth here. These kind of towns emerged all across the U.S. during the 19th and early 20th centuries, and these were driven by access to resources like coal, oil, and fertile land. So if you look around this small lake, if I turn on our natural resources, we can see that we have this huge stretch of ore and fertile land here, and we're definitely going to take advantage of those. Before we place any of that, though, I think we should create a series of streams in this new area. And I want to do this because this city is once again based off the Midwest. And as I can say as a Midwesterner, we have tons of creeks and streams all across the state. I mean, just where I grew up, we grew up near Fall Creek, but we also have a huge connection towards the White River, the Wabash, and all across the Midwest in like Missouri with Hickson Creek, or in Iowa with 4 Mile Creek. These provided water for agricultural and early settlement needs. So we can kind of see why cities kind of formulated around these access to water, because they needed it to feed their citizens like we need today. I think we're going to use the topography lines to kind of dictate how the movement of creeks are going to go. We're going to kind of follow the contour lines, and that's going to be because in the real world, a lot of runoff would formulate around these kind of hills. We're going to kind of use that to dictate how this is going to move. So let's go ahead and start off over here, and I'll try and go about 5 meters below everything, so we can see that this is on a hill. So we'll just flatten this part out here. So 517, we'll go to about 512. And I think we'll do one little irrigation canal here. So we'll kind of do that same thing here. Cool. And we'll leave it at that for now. Now let's go ahead and add lake sources. So we'll just kind of put these all throughout here. And I should be able to, hopefully I can put the streams here and they won't cause too much mayhem, but we'll see. All right, and there are our streams, and my game did crash in the middle of this, so that's kind of why they look different. I had to redo all of this, so always make sure you guys have autosave on. But if we look over here, I create this little pad here, and I think this is going to create a little interesting road in the future. So I guess with all of that all finished, let's go ahead and start looking and planning some of our mines. And now that we got our streams all finished here, what I want to do next, go ahead and purchase the tiles that we are going to use for the mining site. And if we look at our unemployment, I was just looking at this a moment ago. All right, it's at 1.5. So I feel like this is the exact opposite of last episode, where now we don't have any jobs at all. So I'm gonna zone in a small little neighborhood over here as well. But let's go ahead and look at that. And I don't even think I got it all, so I'm just going to purchase a little bit more than I think I need. All right, and that was a lot of tiles, but I just wanted to, treat myself a little bit. So let's go ahead and extend our land survey just a bit, maybe up to about where this huge puddle of water is. I know a little bit of a scattered mess, but I'll connect it all up here in just a moment. But I don't want to, build it all up and then destroy it once we add it in our mines. Which let's go ahead and kind of figure those out. I think for those mines here, what we'll do, I think right after that, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this crossing here. And let me just go ahead. I guess I didn't even make sure. See if I had one here, but I should be able to find one with our grid system. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. We'll be fine here. All right, and that looks pretty good. As you can see there, I didn't kind of connect those up yet because I wanted to wait until we placed our mines, which we should go ahead and start looking at. So I think these are going to be where our two companies are based off of the height of each of these hills. So you can see this one, as I hover over, it's about 533. And this one's about 534 or 536 at its height, 537, I guess. And so we're going to kind of flatten them out all across. And I'm going to kind of stop right about here. So let's grab this height of 5. Let's just do 532. And we'll do the same thing over here, but we'll do a higher height instead. So let's do that 536. And before we get started with our mines, let's just go in with our county highway and kind of outline where that is, because I think we'll lose it if we don't do it now. Nice, nice. So as you can see, I got a couple different ones here. So I'm going to place a bunch of coal mines in here. But first, let's go ahead and carve out all of it to kind of act as if we've dug out all of the hill, kind of get to all the coal here. So let's just use that height there and just kind of do that simply for all of this. Next up, we'll go ahead and place one of these 4 mines. I guess I'll go ahead and go over here. And I'm not going to really care about what the game tells me where I have to place it. I'm just going to kind of put it as I want. And then we'll do the same thing over here with some coal mining, and we'll do the same thing here with some coal mining. So I'll just use 2 different ones here. Now what we'll do is provide a new back road for all the new vehicles and cargo trucks. So I'll just connect these 2 roads up right about here. Nice. What I'll do next is kind of add in a couple buildings around here. Maybe a coal station to kind of complement the build a bunch, to act as if this is a company, not just, one giant thing, and flesh out the area a bit more. So yeah, I'm going to add this one, and let's create a little back road here that it can sit on. We can do it here. Have it turned there. Then we'll just go ahead and place that right here. What I'll do next is add in a couple of industrial buildings and storage facilities to kind of act as warehouses. Once again, like we did in Pyro Waste Solutions. But yeah, I just wanted to do that to flesh the area out more and provide a direct access to these kind of uses. All right, and I was debating on where I wanted to put this train station. And I think I still might have another one over there in just a moment, but I think we're just going to put one here and have them share it, because they're going to share it in game anyway. So there's no point of really using 2 of them. I thought that there was 2 different ones, but we'll just use this one here. So what we'll do is, I don't care about the at-grade crossing here, but we'll just slope it down from here to here and kind of connect it in. And then we'll just go back and connect this in. And then we'll just go ahead and connect this in, create a cargo route from here all the way to Antelope Hills. And I should change that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think I should name that. Maybe that should be a future series or something. And I think that's a good signal, since our money spiked up there as I created that route, that we are good to do a little bit of landscaping. And I want to go in with a dense set of trees to kind of hide it from the road. I don't want you to really be able to tell that this is here. So we're just going to add that, and maybe add in some additional factories in this little area as well. And welcome back here. As we can see, we did kind of crazy. We were kind of crazy this build. So I kind of staggered the terrain in the mining sites to kind of act as if that's where, or that's how it was carved. I also have this little, I guess, storage facility here, and I put a key wall around it to act as a natural barrier, keep all this materials inside. And we have this little industrial site here. And I think that's great. I think I can go ahead and probably delete all of this. Nice. All right, and we have that all gone. And I think we'll go ahead and move on to planning our new little rural community. Now that we have all of our streams placed, I think this will kind of provide us a more interesting Jeffersonian grid. So I want to start taking a look at that, what that's going to look like. And I think if we look at our terrain, or what we have going on, I think this will provide us a pretty nice little community around here, around the lake. So I'm definitely excited to start placing some of that. And I'm just a freak of Jeffersonian grid. To be honest, I don't know what it is, but I love it. I just have to place it. But if we look back, I mean, I think it'll break away from the guidelines of the grid. So what I want to do for this, before we continue on with our Jeffersonian grid, is I want to kind of figure out how State Road 48 is going to maneuver throughout here. And I think I'm going to have it kind of meet up at the lake and meet with another road in the future, another arterial, and kind of act as an interchange, as a fork in the road. So we'll have State Road 48 kind of turn right and continue on in the future. But if we zoom in here, we can see we got quite a bit of terrain here. I think I'm gonna try and flatten it out here and go across this way. And honestly, if you look at our terrain here, we can see that we got a little bit of a slope here. So we'll use that to our advantage. And I'll kind of have State Road 47 kind of complex curve and go down this and meet with the lake. Alrighty, we have this nice little simple interchange here. Nothing crazy, just a transition point between these two little towns. I really wanted this to be an integral part as a transitional period as we transition between small towns. If we go back over here, we can probably go ahead and start placing our Jeffersonian grid, which I'm really excited for. And so what that's going to be again is those 72 graded segments. And we're going to kind of let the water and the terrain dictate where those roads go, and so it's not as rectangular as All right, and I like that a lot. I think what we'll do is go ahead and add a couple of nodes here, kind of place a bunch of UK homes, give it a more rural feel as we traverse down State Road 48. So yeah, I'll add those all throughout here. what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and start placing some roads around this Jeffersonian segment. And we'll kind of make this into a small subdivision or neighborhood to kind of act as a working class neighborhood or community. So we'll do a lot of small houses once we place those in. Let's go ahead and start off with those roads. And I want to place more housing. So why don't we just go ahead and extend the road, one of the roads here, and act as a fancier neighborhood with some bigger houses. So I think what I'll do is I'll just create uh, a simple road network, another cul-de-sac neighborhood throughout this area. Nice. And I think what we'll go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and start zoning in a new little neighborhood near these intersections near the lake. And I'm going to stick with a 13 by 13 grid for this area to kind of mark it as a smaller town instead of doing our 8 by 18, the other block. And I think this little area will be a small little town, as you can see that I put a couple blocks here because I want it to kind of reflect those kind of pop-up towns you see as you drive throughout your state if you're from the U.S. So we're going to kind of mimic that and have a small amount of density and kind of match the vibe of Puerto Gato, but on a small scale. And I want our town to have that same historic core. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zone in a bunch of buildings along the road, maybe a couple homes as well. But first, what we'll do is we're going to upgrade this to a two-lane road to make it And as I was placing those buildings, I thought I wanted to ask something special. And I was looking around and I saw this Black Pig building. And I had a really special relationship with the Black Pig. It's where I went out with a lot of my friends when I was at university. So we're definitely going to place one of those. So what I'm doing is I'm going through, I'm upgrading, or I'm changing the zone. So we'll go ahead and place that here. And I think it'll be good right on the corner. And I think that adds a little bit of historic charm to our city near the lake here. So what I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and start zoning out the rest of this little town center. And with that town center all done, we'll move on to the residential neighborhoods. And I'm going to use the UK housing because they look kind of fancy. And we'll stick to the 4 or 3 unit depth and kind of make these look a little bit more residential, uh, uniform, like a subdivision neighborhood. And right across the highway here, we'll start our new neighborhood, and I'll use the European houses. But we'll do about 3 or 2 for our depth to kind of make these seem more working class. That these are more affordable housing, and that everyday people work and live here. And the last thing I want to do before detailing is add in a bunch of farms for pretty much everything that we did not zone in today. So we're gonna stick with the livestock, grain, and vegetable farms, and just gonna put those in, and we'll try and use some interesting shapes this time. Back near the main city, I was pretty rectangular, but we'll kind of make these more obtuse and irregular shapes. So I think that'll be pretty fun. So let's go ahead and get at it. All right, we got all of those farms placed, and I think it looks kind of like one jumbled mess. So let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of landscaping and detail. For the detail in this episode, we're going to keep it pretty simple. So I'm going to go in with our textures and add those to our farms, just as we did over there in our main city. And I'm going to add in a bunch of trees like I usually do. But speaking of trees, I think I'm going to add in an apple right over here. And I think that'll be pretty, it'll be both functional and aesthetic because it'll give us the wood production. So I'm pretty excited for that. We'll also add in a couple trees here. And maybe we'll add in a couple of smaller parks around here to kind of add in a little bit more reach, give it a little bit more character. So with all of that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, and I think that is looking good. So as you can see, I went through, I added in a bunch of trees around here. I also added in a police station right here on this row, and I'll name this and upgrade this in a little bit if it warrants it. But right now, we'll just leave it at about that. We have our apple orchard all the way over here, and I think that looks phenomenal as well. And then if we go over here, as you can see, I've went through, I've added all the textures to our farms, kind of differentiate them from each other. And as well as I just kind of spruced in some trees, added in a telecom tower so this neighborhood can have some internet as well, and added in a couple parks around our school. So I think this is pretty good, and I think this little town will be a great little satellite hub for the coal industry and the stone. And yeah, I just really wanted to build something far away and have it still have the historical charm as Puerto Gato, or the main city, does. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys have any suggestions or comments, questions, concerns, or anything you want to see in the future, please let me know in the comments. And if you're not doing so already, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. If you watched this long, then maybe you like me, so maybe you'll continue to like me in the future. But thanks so much for watching, and peace.